Hello, people. I do not know what the problem was in the last one. The last part 1 of this series I'm going to probably do because I like the idea of doing a Bible study history as well. Um, I'm going to assume that the volume is working and everybody else is in because so far there have been 12 views and no one has told me whether they can't hear anything. And the little icon there is telling me it's picking up my voice. So anyway, I'm going to continue this series. If this one also is mute when I post it, I'll figure out something. But anyway, um, I like history, Bible history as well. I think what I'm going to do is try to make this a series as well, as I said, along with my Mark study, because I like history and I like the idea. I like the history of the Bible. I like where it came from. I like studying the manuscripts. I like studying the history of the creation of the Bible and the canons and what books were not accepted and what books were and why Luther didn't want James in the Bible in the first place. Well, he thought it was advocating works and grace being the same thing. You have to have one. He believed that it didn't create grace and grace alone. I mean, he really did. I mean, James, Martin Luther later in his life had problems with Jewish people. And unfortunately, it would have been nice if he had ended a little sooner than he did because he became. Anyway, I'll get to that point. I'll get to that point eventually. I want to study the history. I have my notes. The history and its reasons why it's important. Because I think it is where the Bible came from, who wrote it, why, the manuscripts that were accepted, the manuscripts that weren't accepted, why translations today, I'm sorry, are crap. I know that's going to bother people and offend people, but sorry, I've studied this subject for 40 years. I know crap when I smell it and when I see it. I can tell what version of Bible, whether it's the King James or a different version, the moment they start reading it. It sounds different. It feels different. The second meaning, the spiritual essence to the King James that I feel that I like. I like how it's written. I like the poetry of the language. I like the language. I am going to bring this fellow up a lot, William Tyndale. He is the reason we have the King James, or at least he's a major, major factor why we have the King James. This is a good book. It's long. It's not long, but it's long enough. I like William Tyndale. He was an English theologian, a linguist. He translated the Bible from Latin into Greek, which Greek is a lot easier and a lot more nuanced and a lot more, not nuanced, fluid, and more of a better language to translate the Bible into. And because Latin is not as flexible as Greek. Greek, you can say a lot of different things in Greek, not in Latin. But anyway, I will bring him up a lot. I like Tyndale, I always have. He gave us the Bible we have today as the King James. He certainly put it into motion. I mean, we still had to go through the Geneva Bible and the Bishop's Bible and the English Bible and a whole bunch of other Bibles. And a lot of them followed his translations of the Greek New Testament and Old Testament. He was burned at the stake in 1536 for translating the Bible into English. I mean, Thomas More did not like him for a whole host of reasons. The spiritual reasons, I think a lot of the reasons why people in the church are so spiritually lackadaisical or just weak or just basically dead is because they read a Bible that is constantly telling them with footnotes that this may not have been there, this wasn't there, this doesn't mean this. And the King James doesn't. I do not read Bibles with footnotes in them. I don't trust the footnotes, and neither should anybody else who reads the Bible. If you believe the footnotes, you don't really believe in the Bible. You believe in the footnotes. I think that's a lot of the reasons why there's spiritual deadness in the church. That's going to be that's the second thing I'm going to deal with. I'm going to make this video short. I just wanted to do this one to check something. And I'm also going to do literature reasons why the Bible is important. I mean, a lot of Shakespeare came from Tyndale. And a lot of those words, I mean, Shakespeare made up a lot of words, but so did Tyndale. He created a lot of English words. Both of them did. Because the Bible is a literature document. It's just as fascinating as it's a spiritual document, and it is a historical document. The Bible has been a resource for literature ever since it was first created, ever it was first canonized, ever since it was first thought of. I mean, the Apocrypha, though it's not in the Bible, and it shouldn't be because it's contradictory to itself and to the Bible, is still worth reading. I've read parts of it. It's very interesting. The Apocrypha is interesting. They're folk tales. They're stories. But like the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch is not in the Bible. Even though in the Jew, the disciple, who was Jesus' brother, quotes the Enoch, Book of Enoch. Well, there must have been a reason why he quoted the Book of Enoch, because he read it, apparently. But there must have been another reason. There's probably aspects of the Book of Enoch that are probably worth being in the Bible, but not the entire book. It's been a while since I've read it, though. So those are going to be my three major points I'm going to deal with: history, spiritual, and literature aspects of the Bible and its history, and why I'm interested in those things. I'm interested in where it came from and why, and the people behind it, like Tyndale, like Wycliffe, like Hus. I mean, these are names I think all three of them are lost to basic Christian church history. I don't think the church has any idea who those three people are, and if they do, it's a very thin thumbnail idea. I don't think most Christians know their own history anymore. They don't care. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but I'm not sure I'm wrong. I'm quite convinced if I were to give a test on the three valuable things of this, most Christians would fail. Or they would have cliched answers. Or say, oh, I just don't have time. No, you should have time. The Bible is fascinating. The history of the Bible is fascinating. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, it's still an important document. It's still an important piece of literature at the very least. And people who, as I've said before, people who claim that, oh, I don't understand, oh, it's very complicated, oh, it's very dark and hard to understand. No, it's not. You just don't want to take the time and effort to figure it out. And I'm sorry. I think most people who go to church want their theology to be very, very simple. And they don't want to think about it. And they don't want to have to defend it. And they don't want to have to explain it. I have no patience for such things. I just don't. And I know that's terrible. And I should have patience for such things. I just don't. Well, I'm going to close this video and see if it works. I did this, and I wanted to do this introduction as well for part 2. But let's just see. Hopefully there won't be any problems like last time. But please subscribe, share, like, comment. Behave yourselves, people, because you know I won't. That's always going to be the ending, because it's true. I don't know how to behave. Let's see if this works.